A very good evening and a warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on Uctv News. My name is Noro Sende on this 28th day of May 2025 to bring you the bulletin live from the Uganda Mata Shrine right here in Namgongo. We are starting off our newscast this evening with pilgrims with special needs that's from Nebi, Madi, and the West Nile Diocese that are seeking the intercession of the Uganda Martyrs as they approach the sacred grounds of Namgongo. Among the group are individuals with wheelchair and others facing physical challenges, all united in deep faith as they present their personal prayer intentions to the Uganda Martyrs, whom they admire as models of courage and unwavering devotion.
The pilgrims with the special needs from Nebi, Madi, and West Nile Diocese are seeking the intercession of the Uganda Martyrs, asking for their prayers and support in their lives. The pilgrims with special needs include those in wheelchairs, among others, tendered in their request to Uganda Martyrs to intercede for them as they near the holy place, Namugongo. This reflects the deep faith and devotion of these individuals who are looking to the Martyrs as role models and sources of inspiration. Mongo Jabero Eric, one of the special needs pilgrims, said in many Christian traditions, martyrs are revered for their courage and faithfulness, and believers often ask for their intercession in times of need.
I'm a politician. At this time, I want to contest for a councillor for Tata Division, representing persons with disability. I pray God will give me strength and how to communicate to people, so that during the time I can win the vote. And not me alone, and others also. As you know very well, during the times of politics, a lot of things happen whereby some people they lose their life. But I don't want to enter in such kind of politics of that. But I want the peaceful politics to be in our country, Uganda. Thank you. This is all what I have for this year. I'm praying for.
David Thumito, another pilgrims with special needs, noted that the pilgrims with special needs, the Uganda Martyrs' stories of perseverance and devotion may serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of faith and trust in God.
This is my second time to Namugongo. Last year also I went, so I put some requests. My prayer requests last year, some were answered, the others were not answered. So the one which was not answered, I'm taking it this time.
However, Right Reverend Ponso Zelawinju, the Bishop of Nebi Anglican Diocese, lauded the pilgrims with special needs for their devotion and commitment to serve God. He added that by seeking the intercession of the Uganda Martyrs, these pilgrims are expressing their desire for spiritual support and guidance.
Needs for their faith, I'm sure God will listen to us. I am praying that God should provide for them better movement tools, like the other one is using on locally made stuff, and his movement is a little bit impaired. But we pray God will open doors for them and for all our disabled characters who are faithful to God.
This indicates strength in the faith of challenges and looking to the martyrs as examples of how to live out their faith with courage and conviction.
The Director of Welfare Production and Sports in Uganda Police Force, Assistant Inspector General of Police, that's Hadija Namtevi, has reflected on the enduring significance of the Uganda Martyrs and the role of faith in promoting peace and unity in the country. Speaking during a special mass at the Namugongo Catholic Shrine today, that's dedicated to police officers ahead of the annual Martyrs' Day celebrations, the AIGP Namtevi commended the church for its role in fostering the national unity and peace. AIGP Namtevi commended the church for its role in fostering the national cohesion and also praised the Uganda Martyrs' legacy, peace, and community spirit that continues to inspire both civilians and security forces.
On behalf of the men and women in uniform, that is from Uganda People's Defense Forces, Uganda Police, and Uganda Prison Service, We feel honored and privileged to be here this evening. You see, our presence here has demystified that Askaris are not Christians. People believe that because we carry guns, therefore, but today, this evening, we have shown the difference. Two things. One, when you are a scientist, scientists believe in God more than anybody else. Two, when you are an askari, you believe in God more than anybody else. Why? You see, the nature of our work, our lives are at stake. If your life is at stake, what do? The only person left is God. Therefore, I want this one to be very clear that when you see men and women in uniform and they have come in this big number, there is a big wave. We need security, we need peace, we need everything. And these are the people that are here today. What does it reflect? Our country, our citizens, everybody here is safe.
Kantwala omukisa guno okwebaza church okutegeka okusaba kuno nga tujjukira abajulizi baffe naddala omuwolereza waffe Ponsiano Ngondwe. Nga Fanda Akena bwagambye nti ffe okwetaba mu kusaba kuno kijjeewo akakunkuna akabeera mu bantu nga balowooza nti bwe twambala yunifoomu zino tetulina Katonda. Naye njagala obategeeza nti okuwa obukuumi security kya bwa Katonda. Ate ffe tukola omulimu gwa Katonda okulaba nti abantu be batebenkera mu nsi eno gye yatuteekamu. So, security officers and the clergy, omulimu gwaffe waliwo thin line. Ekigwawula kitono nnyo nti bo bali ow'emyoyo ne batubuulira enjiri ne batusomesa Katonda byayagala tusobole okuyita mu nsi eno obulungi nga twetegekera ensi eyo ensuubize eggulu. Ffenna mu nzikiriza zaffe nti ffe aba security tuvaayo kubanga sitaani naye takola ki? Tatudde. Sitaani ewali Katonda, sitaani waali okukyankalanya. Nti ffe aba security tuvaayo ne tuteekamu ko physical appearance. Nti omuntu nga sitaani amukema agenda bbe ng'agamba naye we banankwata. Olaba waasigala mu bwa Katonda. Era bw'atabba ng'agamba Mukama weebala okunnyamba. Sitaani abadde akoze eki? Ankemye. Naye kumbe yalabye omusirikale wali n'atya osanga sitaani yandimumezze.
Now, the Uganda Electricity Distributed Company has reported significant progress in expanding electricity distribution and connectivity new power supply lines across the country since it took over operations from Umeme. However, the company has expressed concern over what it described as skyrocketing cases of vandalism and illegal connections, which are driving up operational costs and posing serious safety risks to the affected communities. Now, while delivering the company's 48-day performance report in Kampala today, the UEDCL spokesperson Janan Kiza noted that these illegal activities have not only tarnished the company's reputation, but also led to frequent power supply disruptions across the country.
Lake from Waligalo up to Kafu, which has affected areas including Kakoge, Mijera, Nakasongola, up to the other extent of Kafu. And then also on the side of the Mitiana Lake, we have had cases of vandalism. I think there were 3 this in the last 57 days. So the vice is increasing. Of course, the consequences of vandalism are really loud. One of them is prolonged outages. Some of the outages we are crying, and also associating to the institution. We deeply apologize for that. But also we know very well that some of these outages as a result of some of these actions of these hard-hearted human beings who are investing in electricity infrastructure in the different parts of the country. Of course, as UEDCL, we have both short-term and long-term strategies to address these issues of vandalism. One of them, we are working so close with law enforcers and the different security agencies to ensure that we bring all these perpetrators of this vice to book. That is one. But also, in light of ensuring that we drive behavioral change, we are going to be embarking on dedicated and deliberate community barazas to ensure that we speak to the communities, especially that host some of these power installations, to join us in the watch of this infrastructure, which are very critical for our country's development. So from next week onwards, we shall be on the lake of Bombo to ensure that we engage all consumers, especially in these areas where we have witnessed these repeated cases of vandalism on the electricity infrastructure. We continue to urge the public to use our official channels of communication.
So on top of that, I just want to mention that our meters, before they are installed, are tested by UNBS, by a third-party tester, to give assurance to the consumer that the distribution company is not the only one testing them. However, when you think about electricity consumption, there are many factors that as individuals and as consumers that we must consider even in our consumption. That is, what type of devices are we using? We find that in our homes, there could be less efficient equipment that we are using. Sometimes you find changes because of the number of people in households. Those are referred to as seasonal changes. Sometimes during holidays, you find the numbers increasing, or during functions.
Now, in our Uganda Matters Future today, we bring you the story of Saint Anatoly Chirigwajo, the patron of hunters and herdsmen.
Saint Anatoly Chirigwajo. Chirigwajo was a Munyoro from Chaka County in Toro. He was of the Basita descent belonging to the Bushback clan. His parents are unknown. He was captured by the raiding Baganda at the age of 16 and taken to a chief called Kisomose. It was Kisomose who took him to the palace of King Mutesa I to serve as a page. Chirigwajo served in the inner enclosure, mainly in the Twekobe king's house under Joseph Mukasa. He was a skilled hunter and a good herdsman who had keen interest in both of these skills and who used his talents in them whenever he had a chance. At the palace, Chirigwajo was impressed by the good behavior of the Catholics, their kindness, trustworthiness, particularly of Joseph Mukasa, their leader, and Andrew Kagwa, his fellow tribesman. He took up Catholic instructions given by these two. Chirigwajo was very strong and pious Catholic. During King Mwanga's reign, Chirigwajo served in the audience hall. The king loved him and promoted him to a post of catering for his wife's rooms and commodities from outside. Anatoly found out that the post would destroy his beloved virtue of chastity. He thus dared to decline the post, though he was sure would result into the loss of his life. But this time, though the king got very annoyed, he did not order for his death. When the Christians' persecution broke out, the king singled him out and said, "This Munyoro page refused the post I gave him, thus despising me." Anatoly was burnt to death, at Namugongo on the 3rd of June 1886. He is the patron of hunters and herdsmen.
Well, it's now time for Today in History. Well, and that marks the end of our newscast today. It has been surely nice having you. Until tomorrow, I am Noro Sende from the entire crew here at the Namugongo Mata Shrine. And we wish you a lovely evening and a good night.